Okay, so let's jump right in. We are going to talk about a really fundamental shift in the world of data analytics today. See, Power BI, it's not just a reporting tool anymore. Nope. It's becoming a native, fully integrated superpower right inside of Microsoft's big data platform, Fabric. And honestly, this changes pretty much everything.
But before we get into the weeds, just think about this for a second. What if your business dashboards updated the very instant your data did? I mean, no waiting for data to be copied, no overnight batch jobs. What if you could just get rid of all the lag and complexity that comes from moving data around just to analyze it? Well, that is the exact problem this whole new architecture is designed to solve.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about Power BI's brand new role. Then we'll get into the magic behind it, something called DirectLake. After that, we'll explore the heart of it all, the semantic models, see how DAX queries bring them to life, and then put it all together to look at the new architecture. And definitely stick around, because we've got a cool bonus section on your new AI assistant.
All right, first up, Power BI's new job description. Because the really big idea here is that it's moved way, way beyond just making pretty charts at the very end of a long, complicated data pipeline.
And here is the single most important thing to get. Power BI is no longer some external application that you bolt on at the end. It now lives inside the Fabric workspace. It's working directly on your central data lake, on the actual data files, without needing to make copies of anything. It's now a native, built-in business intelligence layer, not just some add-on.
So you might be wondering, how does it actually do that? Well, to understand it, we've got to look under the hood into the engine room of this new architecture. The secret sauce is a brand new connection mode called DirectLake.
You know, the contrast here is just night and day. The old way, you had a tough choice. You either imported data, which meant you made a copy so it was instantly stale and used a ton of memory, or you used DirectQuery, which could be painfully slow. The new way, DirectLake, does neither. It just reads the data directly from the Lakehouse in its native Delta format. This means no copies, no complex queries, just pure direct access.
And this table just lays it out perfectly. Just look at that top row for DirectLake. The use case, Fabric. The performance, the fastest you can get. And data movement, zero. Zilch, nada. You're getting the blazing speed of import mode without having to actually move and duplicate all that data. It's a total game changer.
So yeah, the takeaway is super simple. If you're in Fabric, the recommended mode is DirectLake, period. It's built specifically to read data in the Delta format directly from Fabric's central storage, called OneLake. And you can just think of OneLake as the single unified data lake for your entire organization. The bottom line? No data movement, no copies, just pure, unadulterated speed.
Okay, so we've connected to the data at lightning speed. Awesome. But raw data by itself isn't all that useful, right? We need to give it business context. And that brings us to the absolute heart of this whole BI layer, this semantic model.
The best way to think about a semantic model is as a translator. It takes all your raw data tables, your sales, your customers, your products, and it organizes them into a logical structure that actually mirrors how your business works. It's the layer that defines all the relationships, all the calculations, all the security, turning those raw numbers into something that's actually meaningful. So this is where you define how your tables connect to each other. It's where you define what your key metrics, like total revenue, actually mean. It's how you set up hierarchies so you can drill down from a year to a quarter to a month. And critically, it's where you define who is allowed to see what data. It is the single source of truth for all of your business logic. So for example, inside your model, you'd build out these connections. Your main sales table would link to your product table, right? That way, you can analyze sales by product. And it links to a date table for any time-based analysis, and to a customer table to see who's buying what. It's this web of relationships that creates one unified, queryable view of your entire business.
Okay, so now we have this beautifully structured model. How do we actually ask it questions? Well, this is where DAX comes in. That stands for Data Analysis Expressions, and it's the formula language we use to bring that semantic model to life. And hey, don't let the name intimidate you. A lot of DAX is really straightforward. A core business metric like total revenue is as simple as this. You just tell it to sum the amount column from your sales table. And because we're using DirectLake, this calculation happens in real time, right on the source data. And then you can just build on top of that. Want to get the average order value? You just divide your total revenue by a count of all the unique order IDs. See? It's another simple formula that represents a critical business KPI, and it's all calculated on the fly.
And this is where it gets seriously powerful. You can run complex time intelligence calculations, like year-over-year sales growth with a single formula. The model already understands the time relationships you defined earlier, so you don't have to build these crazy complex joins. It just works.
So, we've talked about the connection, the business logic, and the query language. Now let's zoom out and look at the actual blueprint for how all this fits together into a really modern, simplified BI architecture.
At a high level, it's this clean. Your most curated, business-ready data sits in what's called the gold layer of OneLake. The semantic model sits right on top, defining all the business logic. Then your Power BI reports query that model using DirectLake. So any change that happens in that gold layer is instantly, and I mean instantly, reflected in the reports that your users are seeing in Teams, Excel, or wherever. It's just a straight line.
Now, this slide is great because it shows how this clean idea works in a real-world, industry-level pipeline. Data flows in from an API, it gets refined into a gold summary table, and then it stops. There's no export to some separate warehouse. The semantic model and the Power BI dashboard work directly on that gold table. It's totally integrated and governed from end to end.
And like I promised, we've got a bonus. Built right on top of this amazing, streamlined architecture is a super powerful AI assistant, Copilot in Fabric. Think of Copilot as a massive productivity booster. You can literally ask it in plain English to show me sales by region, and poof, it generates the chart. You can ask it to write that complex year-over-year DAX formula for you. It can even suggest how to connect your tables when you're first building out that semantic model. It's incredible.
So the key thing here is that Copilot isn't some external tool you have to plug in. It's your data analyst assistant built right into the fabric of the platform. And it leverages that semantic model to understand exactly what you're asking for. All right, let's wrap this all up. The biggest takeaway, the one thing to remember, is that Power BI is now truly native to Fabric. It runs directly on OneLake using the power of DirectLake. This means no more relying on external data warehouses for your BI, no more duplicating data, and the ability to build true real-time AI-enhanced dashboards for the entire enterprise.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to chew on. With this newfound ability to perform high-speed, enterprise-grade analytics directly on data sitting in a lakehouse, have we finally reached the point where the traditional separate data warehouse is, well, obsolete? That's something the entire industry is about to find out.